Hello, I'm in the game. Hello, I'm in the game. Hello, I'm in the video with my daddy.
All right, everybody. So just like last week, I've got the heater going because it's freaking cold out here. So hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much. But anyway, we got Miguel on again. We're going to be talking about the project he's been working on the last couple months. Um, and hopefully we learned something about 3D printing today. So here we go. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Josh? Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, so you like last time you were doing all the like renders, and the background picture today is one of the renders that you've done.
Oh,
Um
up here? Yeah.
no, behind us, yeah, in the screen. So it's you were doing that stuff last time you were on. This time, what are you working on now? And describe what Hobbyworks is, right?
So I was doing a lot of renders just because I originally started doing the renders because I wanted to see how they looked with the parts that I was making at the time. I was doing like a lot of tires and wheels and engines and stuff, and I wanted to see them in, on a car. And so the renders was a way for me to do that. And I started sharing those with people in the community, and everybody loved them. So, they would ask, oh, can you do this car? Can you do this car? Do it like this, do it like that. And so I just got into doing the renders a lot, and I had a lot of fun with that. But it's always been kind of just a way for me to work on the the parts that I'm making, which is what Hobbyworks is. Hobbyworks is a website that I started with a couple of buddies, modeling buddies, and we design and sell 3D printable files for all kinds of stuff, sci-fi stuff, automotive stuff, tools, little paint racks, things like that. So that's really what I've been working on almost primarily for the last few months is kind of solidifying the amount of products that I have out there, correcting things that I've done that were off a little bit. I get a lot of feedback from a lot of really great guys out in the community. They say, hey, this needs to be adjusted a little bit. So I'm open to that. If you guys find anything in my parts, feel free to let me know. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not an expert. I'm open to all of that.
And that's what's kind of cool. Like some of the guys that sell parts that are 3D printed, they don't do that, right?
Well,
Because I mean, you could give them feedback, but I don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
if they necessarily take it, right?
I'm not trying to get rich here. I just, the only reason I even sell these is because somebody said, hey, you can make a few bucks off of this. So I figured I'll put them out there and see if they're valuable to anybody. And I don't charge a lot. Like most of my wheels are like $5 or like $6 or whatever, something in that range. I don't charge a lot for most of the stuff that I do because I just want to get it out there. I like to see people using my stuff. I like to see my parts on people's models. It's like a pride point for me. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
And we'll get into a little some of the parts that you've done, but um the cool thing is how interactive your page is too. How hard was that to set up?
It's well, if you're computer savvy, it's not hard at all. If you've done any type of web development, it's not hard at all because I'm not coding HTML. I'm not coding any of the stuff. It's all plugins and content management systems that are free and they're available out there for anybody. So you can set up a web host with GoDaddy. You can install the software automatically through GoDaddy. They have a little button you can click install WooCommerce. That's the site. That's the tool that I use. You can pick your theme. You can pick all the little plugins that you use to do various little things. And then it's just about basically, organizing things. I want this picture here, I want this here, etc., and getting your color scheme, and then adding products to your page. It's not hard, it just takes time. And I've refined it a little bit over the past few months, so it looks a little bit different now than it used to, but I think it's better.
No, that's really cool. I didn't realize it was that simple. I thought that was like a lot more complicated.
No, super simple.
Okay.
I use the content management system I use is called WordPress. And that's, literally when you set up web hosting through GoDaddy, you can click the install button and it'll give you a list of all the applications. WordPress is one of them. You install the WordPress, and then through WordPress, you have plugins that do all kinds of different things. And one of the plugins is called WooCommerce. And so that's what does all the e-commerce. Like basically you could set up an online storefront through WooCommerce, and that's what I've done.
No, yeah, it's totally cool. What are some of the products that you've noticed people are liking or you've been selling quite a bit of?
Mostly the engines. I sell a lot of the different engines. And based on feedback I got at Acme last week, I need to do more of that. I thought, and this is my own arrogance, maybe, I don't know. I've had people tell me that tires and wheels are great, but there's a million of them out there and there's not a lot of interest. And that's what I was most interested in, was doing tires and wheels. So I've done a ton of those on my site.
So wait a minute. So how is that? Because when you go into some of the accessory pages, right, there's not really a lot of options for wheels and tires. How is that?
I think it's because they know something that I didn't know, and that's that tires and wheels are easy to find, easy to come by. And so a lot of people don't want to do tires and wheels because it's been done 100 times. What most people want are things like various engine configurations. They want turbo kits. They want, different like header options. They want things that will set their model apart from everyone else.
Yeah, because I didn't get any of the engine pictures up, but these are some of the wheels and tires.
Yeah, that's a wheel I designed specifically by request. A customer asked for the SRT wheels from I think it was a 2013 Dodge Viper. He wanted the wheels to fit his kit tires. And so we went with some very specific wheel dimensions, and I designed the wheel for him. And generally when people ask me for things, I will design it for them. But then I'm going to go, if one person wants it, 100 people want it. So I'm going to put it on my website. And since I had the wheel and I needed a tire to go with it, I designed the tire as well. And then I put those up on my website. And I have that in both the OEM style and then a low profile tire style.
Yeah, here was another one that I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, that's the Vossen NV1. And I actually took some of those to the show with me, and I'll show them to you here. Just let me find a set. So I took those to the show with me, and I think it's a cool wheel.
Yeah, no, it's super cool looking.
I printed like 10 of these and didn't sell a single one.
Wow, really?
Yep.
That's shocking. No, that's super cool.
It is what it is.
Right? Yeah, and that's part of that, right? You have to figure that out as you're going along.
Yep.
So
and I printed a bunch of Hemis, 426 Hemis, and like last minute, Extremis Josh, he mentioned wanting a twin turbo setup for it. And so I thought, yeah, I could do that. And I went ahead and designed one up and started printing it, but I didn't have a lot of time. So I only managed to get like 6 or 8 of them printed, sold every single one of them.
Wow.
Yep.
So we'll talk about Acme in a little bit because you were there last week.
Mhm.
But are you planning on going to any other shows?
While I was at Acme, I had several people approach me and ask me if I would go to their shows as a vendor. Unfortunately, the locations and time frame on some of them is just not doable. There was one this weekend in Memphis, and there's no way I could print enough product and then make the trip back and forth to do that show. So unfortunately, I couldn't do that. But I'm going to try to do the local shows. There's 2 shows here every year. I'll do those. I'm going to try to do Acme every year, and then I really want to do NNL East. Is it? I think it's NNL East. So I don't know of any other shows. If I learn about them, I'll certainly consider it and see if I can't make it work. But yeah.
Now with you being in Nebraska, I think Nationals was in Nebraska this year, right? It was in Omaha, right?
Was it?
The national show this year was in, I think, Nebraska. But next one is what, down in Texas, I think?
I'm not sure.
I mean, it'd be curious to see how you would do at a show like that.
I'd love to go. Acme was great. I did pretty well at Acme. So I like that show. I got to meet a bunch of great people. I got to shake hands with people that, I've been talking to YouTube for, the last year or so, talking to on YouTube. So I really had a good time at that show.
Yeah. So this is the next one I want to talk about. Okay.
Yep.
Explain the process here, because that's not just the engine. I mean, that's pretty much the whole car, but the body, right?
Yeah. So that one came about because I have a 66 Revell Chevy Fleetside pickup kit that I was working on, and I did a full custom chassis for it, had it slammed to the ground. It was all, scratch built from styrene rod and various, styrene products. And it occurred to me that I probably could have done it easier in 3D. And so I thought, well, let me see if I can design this chassis in 3D. So I, pulled all the measurements together and started working on it in 3D. And then I thought, well, I need to scale this. Let me get a 3D model of the pickup and put the chassis under the pickup so I can, see how it fits and how it looks and stuff. And then it occurred to me, well, I already have seats. I already have an engine. I already have the rear 4-link set up. I already have the front suspension parts. I'll just put them all together in this kit and then do a little bit of tweaking here and there to get everything to work together well. And then, make the parts, the other parts that are missing, and turn it into a trans kit and make it available on my website. So I did that, and it's done really well.
Yeah, no, okay, so I didn't print out the whole thing. I printed out the roll cage because I was going to use it in that truck.
Yep.
And unfortunately, resin is really, really brittle.
Yeah.
So I dropped it, and I haven't had a chance to reprint it out. But the thing that I thought was really, really cool is how well it fit in there. Like it's super, like you have room in there. It still looks like it should be part of the actual kit. That's the thing that I really, really liked about it.
I designed door panels that would actually follow the body line on that 66 Revell kit. So the door panels will sit in and kind of wedge into that body, and then that holds keep the roll cage centered in the cab, and it just fits perfect.
Yeah, no, it's super, super cool how it looks too, because like it's a little bit different. Like it sits that truck down a little bit more too. That's the thing that I noticed.
It's basically a body drop. I mean, a frame drag. It sits on the ground.
No, yeah, no, it's super cool. Now, how far are you away from doing bodies?
I mean, that's kind of an odd, or kind of a strange idea. doing bodies is no different from the stuff that I do now. But I'm not an artist. It's really hard for me to get these parts right. I am not creative generally, like you or not generally, but what's the term? I'm not naturally creative. I'm like kind of forcing this stuff to work, and so it doesn't come easy for me to design this stuff. So what I've generally taken to is I find websites that have video game models of various cars, and I'll take those 3D models and I'll use those for my renders. They're not 3D printable or anything. So if I was to create like 3D printable bodies, it would take time. I'm working on one right now where I'm having to model it from scratch. It's a 32 Ford pickup body, and I'm doing that as a commission. And even that, as simple as that is, it's not easy. It's taking some time. So I'm probably not ever going to get into the body space unless I maybe outsource it, find somebody who can do it relatively inexpensive and do a good job and make it 3D printable. I probably won't ever get into that for most things. For some of the more simple stuff like the 32s and some things like that, I can handle that, but probably not anytime soon on the other stuff.
So how close do you think we actually are to printing out a whole kit?
Oh, it's already there. There's already kits now that you can buy that are resin printed kits. That pickup that I have is a full kit minus the body. You basically need the body, the trim, like the chrome bumpers and the glass. That's all you need from the kit, and you've got a full build. And mine is just one. There's thousands out there, I'm sure.
You're starting to see a lot of the 3D printed sites coming out with cars.
Yeah. It's becoming more and more prevalent. I saw some stuff last weekend that just amazes me. There's a guy, I think his channel or his Instagram is JPS Customs. He does wheels, and he does like chrome wheels, and he 3D prints them. He does rubber casted tires, so the tires are actually rubber, but he does the 3D printed wheels, and then he hires out a service that actually metallizes them. They put it in a vacuum chamber, and then they atomize aluminum, and it coats the parts with actual metal. So his chrome wheels are actual metal. It's ridiculous, the stuff that's going on out there.
Okay, so that's cool, and I've seen that one. The one that I've really, really want to try is taking like they did aluminum cans, but like taking the 3D part, putting it in the sand, and then putting molted like brass or aluminum or whatever, making the rim that way.
Yep.
That seems like that would be cool.
Yeah. But you could do, and I'm sure people are already doing this. You could 3D print a part and then use it to create a mold where you could actually cast the parts in like a molten aluminum or whatever the case.
Yeah. No, you're kind of starting to see that. And the cool thing about 3D printing is you get a master every time you do the new mold. So it's not you're trying to, that's the thing that I really am starting to notice. And it's crazy because, a couple years ago, I wasn't sure if cars were going to be possible. And the longer we go along here, it's getting better and better every year.
Everybody's pushing the limit. Yeah, it's not far. It's not far from being common where you 3D print a kit instead of buying it from the hobby shop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I mean, figure painters have been doing it for 3 years now.
Yep.
And you're starting to see a lot of the manufacturers have to raise the prices quite a bit because now they're just all 3D printed.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make up that cost, and it sucks, but it's reality.
And it's only going to move more towards that direction. You've got an older generation of model builders that are, they're the classic. They want to scratch build. They want to do everything themselves. They don't want to 3D print stuff. And I think that's part of that progression, because back in the day, you even had people who were critical of other builders who were using things like photo etch or aftermarket parts. That was kind of like a taboo kind of thing, and it became commonplace. And now you've got the same thing happening with 3D printing, where people are, oh, I don't use 3D printed parts. I use kit parts, or I scratch build or whatever. So it's just a step in the progression. Eventually we'll get to the point where that's the commonplace, is people printing the parts that they want. And they've even at Acme, they had a 3D printed category. So it's becoming more and more prevalent.
So Terry's got a good question. What is the price of a 3D kit going to cost? And realistically, it's not going to be cheap, I don't think.
It's not cheap, but if you look at the resin kits that are out there, the resin kits that are molded are in the $150 to $400 range. If you look at like all of the, what is it, C1 models, alpha models, all of those kits, they're super expensive. I mean, the cheap ones are in the $150 range.
Think about just the resin bodies. I don't think you can find a resin body that's like not printed but casted or whatever.
Yeah.
Under $100.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, at the shows, you can see resin bodies in the $75 to $100 range. But
that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not terrible. But you don't get anything else. You don't get interior chassis. You don't get any of the other stuff. It's literally just the body. Sometimes they will give you the chassis, but you have to do everything else yourself.
And I mean, I will say this. I think you're looking at somewhere about $125 for a kit.
Yeah.
That's
I think that's about the price point. When I did that 66 trans kit, I started selling the files, the full kit, for $150. And I thought, honestly, my personal opinion is that's pricey. That's expensive. And then if you wanted me to print it for you, it was $200, because printing is cumbersome. It takes time, and then you have print failures. You got to reprint things, and so it's timely and aggravating, to be honest. So that one was pricey.
I brought not cheap either.
yeah, that's the other thing. I brought the price down a little bit on the digital files. My thought behind, honestly, keeping the price a little bit higher is that if less people buy it, less customer support I have to provide. And that's actually like an industry concept that a lot of marketers have actually suggested is sell less but sell for more, and it has lots of like industry benefits. But for me, I'm not trying to make a bunch of money, so I started bringing the price down a little bit, and I'll keep bringing it down as long as the customer support isn't too cumbersome. I'll keep bringing my prices down.
And the people that do have 3D printers, that's the way to actually go, is to get the file.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, because you can go spend $15 for a set of 3D printed wheels at a model show, or you can go to my website and spend $5 and then print 20 sets of them, or 100 sets of them, or whatever you want, whatever you need. My only stipulation on my website is that you can't sell them, the files. I don't care if you print a bunch and share them with your buddies. I don't care what you do with them. I just don't want you selling my files to other people. And if you're printing them, I would prefer if you not print them to sell them. Now, I'm open to the idea of making deals with somebody who wants to do that, but just from the get-go, my preference is that you not sell my stuff.
Yeah, no, that's not a terrible request. A lot of people won't follow that request, but
Yeah, I know. I know. But I mean, I try to price the stuff cheap enough so that that's not an issue. And I'm going to be bringing the price of the engine stuff down. Right now, the engine files are like $25. I'm going to bring that down.
Yeah. Do you see the comment?
Yeah, it is. They are getting expensive. I mean, $40 nowadays for a kit. It's
so, but I mean, realistically, if you take inflation into it, it's not far off. Not far off.
Yep.
Of course, they bought all those kits when they were $20, but that's a different argument for a different day.
I mean, I remember buying kits for $3 at Kmart when I was a kid. $3.
Yeah, I think under $10. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I
$3 and
remember
$4, and I remember going in and seeing one for $7 and thinking, "Holy crap! I'm never going to buy a $7 kit."
that.
And now
Right?
I'm getting on these Facebook pages and I'm paying hundreds of dollars for kits.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But I mean, that's the unfortunate part about this hobby. The kits aren't going to get any cheaper. They're just going to keep going up in price.
Yeah.
So you got to figure your way to making stuff cheaper.
Yep.
And I don't know. They inflation, unfortunately people's income is, what it is. I don't really want to get too political here, but it's, you know what I mean? Like,
Smart man.
things are getting more and more expensive every day, and it starts with gas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything that you buy has to be trucked somewhere and or sent by rail or sent by ship or sent by plane, and all of that sources back to the price of oil. So when the price of oil goes up, the price of everything goes up. And
unfortunately, we live in a time where it's getting super expensive to make ends meet. It's just, and it's, hopefully it doesn't cripple the hobby, but you're,
Well, I think that's another place where 3D printing can step in and fill a void, because if you can't afford to go spend $20 on a set of chrome wheels, you can buy the files for $5. If you've got a printer, you can spread the cost of a printer over, dozens and dozens of models and prints and stuff, so that it becomes minuscule. You can print your own stuff for pennies.
Yeah.
That's true, Don.
Oil based.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's super crazy. I just had the next question. So what have you been up to? What have you been building lately, or you just been 3D printing?
Mostly just been 3D printing. I have like 5 or 6 builds still on my bench that are in various states of completion. I've got the Fred Henry build that I've got to finish. I've got the USAC build that I've got to finish. I've got my 66 fleet side pickup build that I've got to finish. I have a G body, like a early 80s G body stock car that I'm turning into like a pro stock kind of a build. I've got to finish that. I've got the pro stock or pro mod Challenger, Dodge Challenger. It's like a 2013 Dodge Challenger build that I've got to finish. So, I mean, I got a ton of stuff that I need to work on, but I'm so busy doing the 3D stuff that I haven't had much bench time at all. I spend a lot of time in Blender and Chitubox.
And that's the program you use the most, right?
It is. Yeah, that's the program I use to design all my files.
No, yeah, yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool. I started playing around with that the other day, trying to like splice prints, like trying to, and I don't know. I still haven't quite figured that one out yet.
Yeah.
Not hard. I just,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it right. That's all I know at the moment.
Yeah. Thanks, Don. I appreciate that. Honestly, I'm doing what I want to do. I love doing the 3D stuff. I do need to take breaks once in a while just to kind of avoid being burnt out on it. But I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah. No. It's. Yeah. That's awesome. And and the cool thing is now you've got all these, because you also scratch build stuff too, right?
Yeah, all of my current drag car builds are all scratch built chassis, tube styrene or styrene rod tube chassis. So yeah, what's up, Terry?
Yeah,
Don, Josh, Brian, what's up, everybody? Jamie, Two Talls.
Yeah. Okay, so Acme last week, you were there, and
Yep.
you're not from that area, so I
Nope.
want the traveling perspective of going to that show.
Yep. So Acme was in Smyrna, Georgia, which is a suburb of the Atlanta area. I'm in Omaha, as you mentioned, and it's about 1,000 miles from here to there. Google will tell you that depending on the route you take, it's either 14 or 15 hours. We chose to take the route that was longer because we wanted to see more, which on the way out there was kind of pointless. It took us an extra hour, and we drove in the middle of the night. We left here it was late. I think it was like 5 p.m. And we arrived in Smyrna, Georgia at the hotel at 9 a.m. So we drove overnight. It was dark the whole way, and we drove straight through. We didn't stop except for gas and potty breaks. But that was a drive. That one was tough. Driving back home was actually fun. It was nice. We got to see everything. We got to see the arch in St. Louis, all kinds of really great stuff. That one was nice, but driving out, not so much.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And being in Oregon, I would not drive. I would fly.
Well, we would have flown, but the plane tickets, you're talking about $400 round trip, and then 2 adults, so there's $800, and you're going to need a rental car anyway. So we thought, if we're going to get a rental car, why don't we just drive? It's 15 hours each way, but like I said, we can drive the first one in the middle of the night, and then we get to see the scenery on the way back. The rental car's not going to cost us anymore, and we save money for other things. So we budgeted in a way that let us travel and make a little vacation out of it, participate in the show. We got to see stuff in Georgia. We went to see some of the historic battlefields. We drove past a lot of stuff out there that was really cool. We went to a yarn store that she had been oogling for a while. So, we got to do a lot of really cool stuff while we were out there, not to mention the show and meeting all the great people that were there.
Yeah, I know when I looked up plane ticket prices, it was cheaper for me to land in a state next to Georgia
and then drive
whatever they have, 2-3 hours, whatever it is. But if I landed in Georgia, I don't know why, but it was more expensive. I'm not
surprised. Probably because it's so crowded.
But how was the show? Because I'm sure by now everybody's posted videos, but how was the show?
It was awesome, actually. I got super lucky, and the table that they put me in for my vendor booth was right in the middle of the room, right in front of an open area. So there was a lot of traffic. Everybody who went to the show walked past my booth. I can guarantee it. So it was pretty awesome. They had at one end of the room, they had all the models, and the night before the show, they were doing registration at the hotel, at the host hotel, and they had I think it was either 477 or 577 models registered for the show the night before the show, and then obviously they get more the day of the show. So it was like between 500 and 600 models in the show. And there was the most amazing stuff I've seen in a show anywhere. I go to the shows here locally, and there's some really good builders. Pales in comparison to the stuff I saw at Acme. Just ridiculously amazing builds. Some of these guys, I just can't believe the stuff that they're putting out. I got to see like Brian's and Fred's builds. Incredible builders, all of those guys. I mean,
I think Tom, right? Tom Rambler 69.
Yeah, Rambler 69. He had some amazing stuff there too. Yeah, absolutely.
I could be wrong, but I think he was the one that took Best of Show. I think I don't remember. I
think Best of Show went to a guy who had a large Corvette that was like all in a bunch of different pieces. I can't remember what the scale was. It was like either 16th scale or something big like that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And that's the hard part about YouTube being, you get bits and parts. That's why since you had been there, I figured I would ask you a bunch of it, because it's one of the coolest shows, especially for the table. What goes out onto the table. It's incredible what you see there.
Yep. Yeah, my wife is a builder too. She builds military and aircraft.
She builds what?
She likes to build military stuff and aircraft, airplanes. So she'll do tanks, she'll do military jets. She likes to do ship models. So she's got like old wooden sailing ships. Yeah, she likes to do that stuff. She doesn't really do cars at all. Oh, she really likes to do NASA stuff, Saturn rockets, space shuttles, those types of things.
Man, you're already going to be printing out all kinds of stuff just for her, huh?
Yeah, as soon as she gets around to it. She doesn't have much time to build models. She's busy with other hobbies. She's got as many hobbies as I do. She does knitting, and she does crocheting. She does the little art where you put the little gems on the paper. They like glue to the paper and make a picture. I forget what that's
thing that Papa Dan does, and I can't remember what
I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, she does that. She's got all kinds of stuff going on.
No, yeah.
Plus, she's a student. She's always in school, taking classes, furthering her education, advancing her career. I mean, she's got so much stuff going on. I don't know how she has time to breathe.
Diamond painting. That's right. Diamond painting.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, I'm just as bad, because I like to draw, paint, figures, my Second Amendment rights,
Yep.
Yeah. So it's all crazy, and it's all fun too. That's the great thing about a lot of this. And then, I was stupid enough to show my son video games, so.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have a bunch of different interests, and it's hard when you're ping-ponging back and forth. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. You never get any focus time on any one thing, and it definitely is the detriment of all of them.
Yeah, unfortunately that's true, but I find this hobby is such a stress reliever, even if it's just the figure painting and model building for me. So this hobby is probably priority over some of the others, but I always find time to do the others too. And still make priorities work, family,
Yep.
It's just managing time.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm fortunate that I'm working from home right now, so I have a lot of extra time. I'm not having to commute. I have free time during the day when I'm logged in working, but there's nothing going on, so I'm tinkering with other things, and it's nice to be able to do that.
No, it's super awesome. Um, so you had a bunch of fun at Acme. That's super cool. Are you planning on going again?
I would love to go again. My goal is to go next year as well. Um, who knows what's going to happen in the future, but yeah, my intention is to go every year now.
No, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
I want to. I want to go bad because there's a lot of people down there. I'd just like to meet, just being part of the YouTube community.
Yep.
But just seeing some of the models on the table,
I want to go, even if I don't go as a vendor, I want to go every year. I had such a good time. I mean, we had dinner with I mean, we went to Marietta Diner, which is like I guess a well-known restaurant in that area. But we had a party of I think 27 people, 26 or 27 people, and we all went to the diner and had a great time. But yeah, I mean, just meeting everyone, getting to hang out with the guys, and we sat around the hotel in the lobby bullshitting for hours, and before the show and after the show and the night before. I mean, we got to hang out, and it was a great time. I had such a great time meeting everybody, and I would definitely do it again, even if I wasn't vendoring. It's worth the trip.
yeah. Brian says you need to bring something to put on the table, though.
Yeah, I will, and my stuff's going to get better over time. Everything I do will get better. Brian's one of my chief testers. He's the one who he prints things and then he says, "Oh, you messed this up.
Oh, really?
This needs adjusted. This is too big. This is too small." I love Brian, man. He helps me so much. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
So we're kind of getting towards the end here, but go through some of the 3D printed machines, products that you use,
Yep.
stuff like that would help people.
Well, you can see behind me, I've got all my printers up here, and I've got two of the Anycubic. I'm an Anycubic guy. I've heard good things about the Legus, and most of the people I met at the show who were 3D printing had a Legus, but I'm an Anycubic guy. I use the Anycubic Photon Mono, which is their kind of like baseline of the, I think, better quality printers, or at least it was when I started printing. And then I have the Photon Mono X, which is the big one. Now that one is big enough that you can print an entire body on it. And as you can see, I have a print on the head right now. That is that 66 chassis. The full kit is on that build plate. Now, that's a failed print, which is why it's just sitting there and I haven't touched it because I'm frustrated. but it'll fit. That's how big that build plate is. The Photon Monos are not quite that big. Those you can fit about 6 tire and wheels. You can fit a full engine, maybe 2. It's big enough that you can print plenty of stuff, but it's not big enough for like bodies or chassis or anything like that. You can print the chassis if you print them at an angle. Doing so gives you better print results anyway. So that's kind of like, what a thing that you should do. But the problem is because the chassis is so long, the angle is such that the prints take 11, 12, 13 hours. So it takes a long time using the smaller printers. Now, that printer, when I bought it, was like $250, the first one, the Photon Mono. When I bought the second one, they had a deal and the price was down to $189 on sale. The regular price had come down like $30, $40 maybe, and the sale price was even more, down to $189. So I bought the second one for under $200. The big printers, those tend to be in the $500 to $600 range. But the smaller ones are totally affordable for even smaller guys who don't intend to print a lot of stuff. It's a reasonable price in the under $200 range. The resin is anywhere from $30 to $40 a bottle for a liter, depending on the type of resin and the color resin that you choose. I have recently switched to water washable resin. The basic resin is it's good. but you need something like isopropyl alcohol to clean the parts in when you pull them off the printer. And the problem is that the isopropyl alcohol gets saturated with the resin, and eventually dipping your parts into the alcohol to clean them just coats them with like a resin film. It's not good. You have to clean the IPA or replace the IPA pretty regularly to avoid that. So I switched to the water washable, which is about $8 more a bottle, but I don't need any IPA. I literally have a little tub of water. When I pull the print bed off the printer after it's done, I swish it in there just to get all the surplus resin off of the print bed. And then I take it to the sink and I just give it a good rinse, and I don't need any IPA. I don't need any extra chemicals or machines or anything. It's great. I love it.
How long are you curing that stuff? Because I've heard horrible things about the water washable stuff.
No, I tend to cure my parts for depending on the parts, like smaller, thinner parts, I'll only cure them for like 2 minutes. Some of the heavier stuff, thicker stuff, I generally go 6 minutes. So anywhere from 2 to 6 minutes, depending on what you're printing. And this is an example of something that was done water washable. I mean, it's absolutely turns out identical to the other stuff.
No, I've heard over time that if you don't get it cured enough, that stuff will literally like shatter.
I don't know about that. I mean, I haven't had any issues, but I've only been using the water washable stuff for about a month now, and I swear by it. I won't use anything else now.
Yeah, see, I'm using you see the post on Facebook, but it's the Sunlu resin that just came out like 6 months ago, and I've been finding really good results with that. Oh, dude, that's so cool. Check that out. That's crazy.
So this is just a test print that I did of a 32 Ford pickup, the bed. It's something that it's a commission that I took on at the show, actually. So I'm working on that now, trying to get the prints going right. I've printed this bed like 3 times now, and it's getting better. I'm figuring things out. It's coming along.
No, and that's why I said, and then what are you using to cure the parts with?
When I first started printing, I bought the Anycubic wash and cure station. I don't use the wash function anymore, but I do still use the cure. So I just put the parts on the little carousel and clock it over for 6 minutes and let it run. It's a pretty neat little tool. It's like $130. I don't know if it's worth that. You can get little UV lights that cure like for fingernails when they're doing manicures and stuff. You can get those little lights for like $20 and they'll work just fine. But I bought that one.
I got the one from Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
So one that's got like it's like that big.
Yeah.
Did not work at all for me.
Yeah.
So I went and I followed the YouTube channel Uncle Jesse, and he's got the UV light that he uses. Yeah. See, that would probably work better.
Well, see, I mean, this is just a flashlight that I found, and I got a couple of these. I will use these.
I don't know.
Oh, you got one?
I don't know if it'll stretch over here, but I mean, this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. And if you built yourself like a little box with like mirrors or something, that would be awesome. How much was that?
Well, what?
How much was that?
This light was $25.
I'm going to have you send me a link for that, because I want to build a little rotisserie box out of something like that.
And then me and Fred have the same little rotary stand. It's like $20, but it's got a mirror top on it. And I broke the Anycubic wash and cure station because the little knob fell off. And then me and Anycubic are having rounds on customer service.
3D print one.
Yeah, right. So So, well, no, I broke the whole motor knob off. It's the little jolt
Oh,
that comes out to the knob. It
oh,
snapped off.
wow.
So I have to get, and they don't sell those parts. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Hobby Barn. Yes, that's correct. The other thing about the water washable is there's almost no odor from the water washable. I mean, it's like minuscule. I left the lid off my printer all night long last night, and I had no idea. I mean, there's no odor whatsoever. And I'm
Yeah.
not in a well ventilated room. The window is blocked off. I can't even get to it to open it. There's no ventilation in this room at all. And I, couldn't tell you that I had that lid open all night.
And that is some of the concerns, right? About like if you have someone in your family that's got like asthma and stuff, or like Terry with his lung issues,
Yep.
you got to be super careful with resin because
Yep.
it does have an odor, some of them.
Yeah. The basic resin that I get from any cubic it's not terrible, but it's definitely stinky. The worst part about the printing is the isopropyl alcohol. And that's another a big benefit of moving to the water washable is not having to smell that isopropyl alcohol every time I print something.
No, and that's the great thing about the hobby is you hear different stories and you can get, ideas from other people too. But yeah, that like I basically stopped using and bought the light and the round table, and I don't think I'm into it $40.
Yeah.
Because I followed another YouTuber suggestion, I need to build the actual box that light sits in, but I just haven't had time.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, you could just put some mirrors around it. You can make it work.
Oh yeah. And I've also seen, you remember, I don't know if they still make them. I probably got to go to a feed store, but the aluminum bucket, metal rain bucket, thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could see them all over the stores when I was a kid. Well, you put that light on top and then you put the round table with the mirror in the bottom of it. I've seen people do that too. Yeah, it's super crazy how you can not spend money in the 3D printed world
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
spend all kinds of money in the 3D printed world.
I'm thinking you could do something like a cylinder that was like a mirror. If you could find something that was like reflective and round like a cylinder, and then you could put the turntable in the middle with the light on top, and then just have it reflecting in all angles, that would be perfect.
Yeah. I've looked at a couple of like what I'm talking like you I my niece or my wife's sister's daughter, I think it's her niece to us, has this like makeup thing that sits on her desk, and it's kind of like it's not round, but it has more of like an egg shape to it, but it's half, and it's got mirrors and little drawers and stuff in it. But the mirror part of it, I've been trying to find. Yeah, but it's the stuff I Google when I'm not doing this for the hobby.
A lot of internet time.
So we've hit about that hour mark. There anything else you want to talk about for the 3D printed side of it?
No, I know you've been doing 3D printing probably longer than I have, Josh. And I know you do a lot of figures and stuff. And I see you've got Spider-Man in your paint booth back there. What are you printing lately?
So it's actually in front of me. Let me see if I can pick it up without it falling apart. I still have small touches to do on this, but this is Hawkman.
That's cool.
Yeah, Spider-Man. This is from Wicked. This print was free on Cult TV, Cult 3D, something like that.
Yep, Cult 3D.
Yeah, and then the Spider-Man behind me. No, it's pretty cool. Oh, don't break, don't break, don't break, don't break. See, this is from Xanax, and Xanax has some pretty cool posts.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's basically just speed paint.
Okay.
Is how I did the red and blue together, so I didn't have to tape anything off. I could just paint it red and blue, and the only thing I got left is to like do the black, the webbing lines, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then this guy's pretty much done.
That's cool. Is the spider on his chest? Is it embossed? Is it raised, or is it?
No, it's raised. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then this is Warhammer stuff. So I've always done the Warhammer stuff. This is 3D print I got off, I think, Colts 3D. So I blew it up. I didn't want to paint one this size, right?
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
28
yeah.
millimeters. So I blew it up as high as I could to get on my Anycubic. But I have 3 of these, and they're all different sizes. And they're way bigger. You know? That's kind of what I've been doing lately. I want to do, like, I mean, if you can see the detail and stuff in these.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know what I mean? And then, like, these are ones that I did in PLA long time ago.
Oh yeah. How's the detail on that? Oh, I could see the lines in the base, but the model looks good.
Well, yeah, because I put enough filler primer on it to where it was.
Is that what you're doing? Is using a filler primer to base all of that stuff?
Well, you're supposed to on the resin stuff too. You don't have to on some of the files, but some of the files, yeah, you still have to a little bit, or you have to really, really prep the models well enough to,
Okay.
you know. But PLA, you don't have a choice. If you're not using filler primer, you're just not getting good.
You know, I was talking to that JPS Customs guy, great guy by the way, and he was telling me he has an 8K printer that he's using, and those printers are in the $500 to $600 range. And he showed me an engine that he had printed with it, and you could not see layer lines at all. It was beautiful.
Yeah. See, like this is Cyborg in PLA, right? Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, drop it. But you get closer and you can see the line still. And that's printing it as thin as you can possibly get it. And you can still see the stuff. It's
right.
Crazy. You know,
Brian's asking what filler primer you're using.
Yeah, hold on. This is the other one. This is one of the better files.
Or Predator, I mean.
This is one of the better files because you get next to it and you can't see the lines at all.
Wow, cool.
And some of it is super so I use this stuff.
Rust-Oleum filler primer? Okay.
See, and the reason I like this stuff is I have a Posh H, right? You can go to like Napa Zone or Napa AutoZone, you know, and get the can for like, this is like $6-7 now. And the little bitty can is 20, and you get like 4 or 5 of these cans in the, you don't have to thin it down. You don't have to
gas it out.
Yeah. Well,
decant it.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, one of the ways I kind of save money, you know, but, you know.
Well, cool.
Do you have any other questions for me?
Nope, I'm all set. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm glad we were able to kind of make this work. We're, you know, plug your your new website, and you know, and a lot of people still have questions on the 3D printed stuff, and it's crazy at the end of the day. You know,
Yeah.
I still struggle, but I seem to have kind of figured stuff out. Now I got to get the support settings dialed in, so I'm not leaving those little bitty gouges and stuff in the prints at times.
I use a cone shaped support at the tip with a 0.2 mil ball, and I use a 0.1 mil or 0.2 mil depth. So the
Yeah.
ball is the radius on the balls is 0.2 millimeters, and it's halfway sunken into the part.
Yeah. See, and it's little stuff. Like I follow him pretty well, and he does sell figures that you can buy the whole kit. And like literally I've watched him pull the part out, like basically just snap it apart, and it's flawless. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I wish you would show me how to do that. You know, but you know, he's also running a business, so I understand, you know,
He's got
why
lots of practice.
do that, right?
Yeah, I've got it pretty well dialed in on my settings.
Well, you know, like I was saying, thank you for coming on. I will talk to you in a couple minutes. I'm sure we're going to have a nice little conversation about Second Amendment stuff.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
But we will I'll probably see you tonight in Brian's hangout. I think he's going to be doing one tonight, but I will talk to you in a couple minutes.
See you there. Bye, guys.
Oh, if the computer will work. So that's Miguel, guys. He came on again. Talked about HobbyWorks today. Hopefully you guys learned just as much as I do on 3D printing. He's doing some super cool stuff. And he had the website on his underneath this thing. If it's not in the description, I will try to put it on there when the video's done. But I will see you guys next time. Next week is another it's Kenny Coughlin is who it is. And he does a lot of stuff in sci-fi. So next week's is going to be another fun little episode. So I will see you guys later.